Bat Tools presents multi-platform 5-ton landing gear axle jack. This new product makes changing the tires on your aircraft a breeze. Let's walk through how easy it is to set up and use the Bat Tools axle jack. As always, safety first. Before performing any maintenance activity, please refer to your specific aircraft manufacturer's technical manuals for proper procedure on aircraft jacking, standard practices, and any other guidance necessary for safe operation. Now let's assemble the axle jack. First thing you need to do is connect the legs. You connect the universal legs to the base of the jack by inserting the smaller end with the guide hole into the base of the jack by sliding in while also pulling the quick disconnect on the base of the jack until the leg is fully inserted. Release the quick disconnect into the guide hole and ensure the legs are now locked into place. Pull the leg to verify the leg is solidly mounted. The next step in setting up the Bat Tools axle jack is to insert the lifting pin. You need to install the axle lifting pin into the block of the jack. Lift the catch mechanism and insert the black side of the lifting pin, leaving the bronze end exposed and toward aircraft. You must ensure that the catch mechanism properly engages by pulling out on the axle lift pin to verify the catch is fully engaged. The last step in assembling the axle jack is to attach the retention strap. You will perform this step prior to moving the jack into position. You'll need to install the retention strap into the mounting clip on top of the block directly above axle lift pin. Ensure strap is not hung on any moving parts or resting on any aircraft parts that can be damaged during the jacking process. Now you're ready to start the lifting process. Pretty simple, right? As we move on to lifting the aircraft, the first thing you'll need to do is to set up the jack for the lift. Ensure the pump pressure bleed valve is turned to the closed position fully clockwise. Then, pump the jack until the axle pin is at the proper height for axle insertion. For the main landing gear, you will do this opposite of the tire requiring maintenance. A word of warning at this stage is to ensure that you do not back off of the axle nut during the procedure, or it will require a torque procedure and can cause serious harm to the aircraft or yourself. We recommend maintaining no less than 0.250 inches from the aircraft. The bronze spacer on the lift pin should be adequate spacing and no additional spacing should be necessary. You will need to visually confirm before lifting aircraft to prevent damage to aircraft surfaces. For the nose landing gear, look for the placarded insertion point. In this case, you'll push the jack forward into the center axle point, inserting the pin as far as possible until jack is resting against the bronze spacer on the lift pin. Ensure that you are still maintaining proper clearance from aircraft surfaces to prevent damage to the aircraft finishes. We recommend maintaining no less than 0.250 inches from the aircraft. The bronze spacer on the lift pin should be adequate spacing, and no additional spacing should be necessary. You will need to visually confirm before lifting aircraft to prevent damage to aircraft surfaces. Once it's installed at the proper axle depth, install a retention strap around the tire that is not requiring service on the main landing gear. Note that when you're installing the nose landing gear, ensure that the strap buckle is not resting on any aircraft metal surfaces. This is to prevent aircraft surface damage. Now you're ready to lift the aircraft, so here's what you do next. Pump the jack up to the clearance height necessary for wheel and tire removal. An important note for you at this point is that if the aircraft landing gear needs to be off the ground for a longer duration of time, there is a mechanical safety mechanism that can be engaged by slowly bleeding off the pump pressure by turning the pump pressure bleed valve counter clockwise. The jack will rest on the closest toe to the pawl. To disengage and lift the aircraft from the mechanical rest, turn the pump pressure bleed valve clockwise and pump the jack until the pawl mechanism is disengaged. Once this is complete, you are now ready to lower the aircraft. In order to properly lower the aircraft with the jack, you will need to hold the mechanical safety stop handle to vertical position and then slowly turn pump pressure relief valve counterclockwise and slowly release pressure. A safety note for you here is that the aircraft will immediately start to lower, so make sure the area is clear and safe to lower first. Once the aircraft is lowered and the aircraft is resting on the landing gear, you can close the pump pressure bleed valve by turning it fully clockwise prior to removing the jack and axle pin from the aircraft. Then go ahead and remove the retention strap. Slide the axle jack slowly away from the aircraft using the jack handles until it has cleared the landing gear area. You need to return the jack to the starting position in order to get it ready to store. You return the jack to the stowed position by holding mechanical safety stop handle to vertical position and turning the pump pressure bleed valve counterclockwise to release pressure. Another safety note here: be careful to keep fingers clear of any pinch hazards between pump pressure relief valve and the mechanical safety stop handle. To stow the jack, remove axle lift pin from the block and stow properly in the case. Remove the legs from the base of the jack by disengaging quick release pins. Place it in the foam-lined storage case. Lock the case clasps and you are ready to store the jack. Please keep hands, tools, and any foreign object debris clear of all moving surfaces. For more information, get in touch with your BAT Tools rep today.